Welcome back, everybody. Live with Chaos is back for Season 2. We had a very, very successful Season 1, and we are starting off with a bang. Tonight, we've got some good stuff for you. First, we're going to do some intros. My name is John. People call me Chaos. It's been a long road, and I just stuck with the name. Next up, we've got my buddy Ebbs from House of Guns. Ebbs, how are you tonight, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm a little nervous about talking live, and so I don't know where to put my hands.
what do I do with my hands? Next up, we've got Josh, a.k.a. Whitey, from 4guysguns.com. Whitey, how are you, brother?
I'm fantastic. Back-to-back nights of Go Time on Live, so I hope everyone's watching. We're going to announce a winner later on tonight, too, for a couple things.
Yeah, we got some giveaways, guys. Definitely stick around for the giveaway winners. And I also want to encourage you to go ahead, if you have a question, comment, whatever, leave that in the YouTube comments. Or you can use the Q&A that's down in the bottom left-hand side of your screen on YouTube, and that will allow you to ask us questions directly. Now, to the man, the myth, the legend, Top Shot's own, Dustin Ellerman. Dustin, how are you, man?
Hey, doing good. It's fun to be here.
Yeah, is it warm down in Texas right now? Because I know the three of us are freezing.
I had to turn the heater on in my office. It was like 50 degrees, so we're pretty cold too.
Yeah. Oh man, 50 degrees. I was out in. I think we had one day of that, and I was out wearing like shorts and a t-shirt because it was like a sauna outside. It's crazy. All right, guys, let's go ahead and dive into the show. I think it's about time. No nonsense. You know, right now in the world, there are a lot of bad things happening. There's civil unrest, you know, in many places. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about was the potential for civil unrest right here in the United States. There are a few issues going on in Connecticut right now, and there's supposedly a letter going around that is talking about confiscation of people's firearms. Now, I don't know if you all remember this, but there was an issue with registration, and I think about 1/6 of the firearms owners in the state of Connecticut actually went ahead and registered their firearms. Now, what I wanted to ask you, Dustin, is how do you feel about this? Do you think that the people of Connecticut are going to have people knocking on their doors? Do you think it's going to go down that road? Do you think the state of Connecticut has the guts to do that?
You know, you said it well. We're living in interesting times, and stuff's going crazy. You know, I guess I'm really looking forward to, I guess, what happens in Connecticut. And on one hand, I'm happy it didn't happen here because that's some rough stuff. I've talked over Facebook with some, you know, guys living there when I was sharing some of the Connecticut Post and everything, and you know, you could tell they're very disappointed and they don't like what's going down, of course. But then, you know, they kind of bring it home. You know, what are you going to do? Like, hey, as a competitive shooter, you're going to register or are you going to stand up? But what's, you know, it's really cool that you hear that most of them are probably standing up for it, and with only a little bit of registration. And so I don't know where it's going to go. It's just, you know, it's kind of just good to watch right now. But my take is there's a line in the sand, and you got to make that where it's going to be, you know. And registration's a good place to draw the line because after that they know who you are and they come and get it one by one, and it's hard to fight.
Yeah, I think it's kind of unprecedented. You know, we've never in United States history had anything like this happen. For any government entity to claim that they are going to come get your gun, I mean, that's what people are like, oh yeah, I dare them to do that, and now it's quite possibly happening. It's scary times. Ebbs, what do you think, brother?
You mean it hasn't happened since 1775? That's what you meant to say.
Well, technically that was not the United States.
Well, whatever, but you know. What I mean. You know what? I say good on the guys that were like, oh, what guns, and you know, didn't line up to.
There was a tragic boating accident.
Basically, just invite them in to see what they have and take what they have, and you know, maybe it's a way that they're standing together. silently united, so to speak. It will be really interesting to see as the letters have gone out and we start to see more information about, oh, this many people haven't registered, and I don't remember the exact number, but I want to say 318 or 20,000 guns in the state of Connecticut. Somebody will answer in the comments and tell me I'm an idiot, but only like 50,000 of those were actually registered on time, and I think it's scary. I mean, what happens there could be preparation or a little bit of foreshadowing for what could happen in other states that are trying to do the same. Is California close to this? Also, there's a lot of good shooters, a lot of good gun owners in the state of California also. And I know I was guilty, even California, Connecticut at the same time, writing those guys off and saying, you know what, they're idiots over there. One way that you can vote with this, instead of waiting around for something to happen, is with your feet.
Right. Get up and leave.
Yeah, get out of there. You're just hanging around and being a part of that. You're just asking for something to happen. And we probably all could agree that something is going to happen. We just don't know exactly what that is yet.
Right. Hey, Whitey, is the vibe in New England, is that kind of, I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it, are people scared that it's going to spread to other states? I know that you're in New Hampshire, and you guys, what is the slogan? Live free, die hard?
Live free or die. Let me tell you, it's different up here. If I travel 30 minutes south, it's like literally entering a whole other world. Once you hit Massachusetts and Connecticut, that's when you start running into everyone's like I mean, they're kind of unfortunately written off as gun owners. So I'm really, as a former Connecticut resident, I am really actually happy to hear that people are standing up and not giving in, whether it be silent or vocally, because that place really is, Connecticut as a whole, and I've been to every corner of it. You have so many diverse characters, I would say, but it is wholly run by Obama voters, for lack of a better term. I mean, everyone's just living the Newtown dream, unfortunately, when it comes to how they view firearms, and it's sad. But once you hit New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine, it's good old boys. It's everyone, they speak their mind. There's not a whole lot of.
So you guys are the rednecks of New England. Is that the case?
Roughly, yes. I mean, I think my lack of y'alls kind of changes that a little bit. But up here, we're just like, it's a little bit of a I wish a mother would. It's like that.
Yeah. Sure.
New Hampshire's got.
We're on the precipice. This time in the United States is going to make or break the Second Amendment. There's no better way to put that. We're teetering on the edge of some very, very serious things from happening, and I hope that people actually get their heads on straight and stand up when that needs to happen.
Especially after what happened in New York. I mean, all it takes is one smart guy putting it on a map and then making it accessible on YouTube or making an app out of it, and then it just goes all downhill. I mean,
you mean the location map?
Yeah, the New York Times, New York Post, whoever it was, decided it'd be a great idea to let everyone know where the danger zones were by here's the gun owners.
Right.
That whole shtick.
Yeah, let's hope that virus doesn't spread to other states. Now, something that comes up a lot with firearms owners is we tend to get branded, so to speak, as the religious right. We're all right wing, no matter what. If you have a gun, you're right wing, you're Christian, etc., etc., etc. And that's not always the case. And I wanted to ask someone who's very openly Christian, aka Dustin, how do you feel about that sort of branding?
It sounded like you said Christians are called Dustin, but sorry, Dustin. That was
okay. What was the question? No, that's funny because that's kind of how I got on Top Shot. Some guys they chose because they were good shooters, but the producers and everything, when they were interviewing me, it was all like, so you're a Christian Bible banger, NRA member, whatever. I was like, okay, yeah. And so it's that branding that I guess it took hold of there. But but I mean, yeah, I mean, most Americans probably are gun owners. you know what's scary, I guess, is a lot of it is the unintelligence we have sometimes, and it's those mediocre gun owners that fall into the lies of the media. And I don't care about assault weapons. Well, yeah, they're saying assault weapons now, but pretty soon it's like goes the way of Australia and anything else, and so everybody needs to care about it. And yeah, I mean, you do have. It's not just the right-wing religious or whatever that are gun owners. There's everyone out there that competes. You can't just isolate it and put it all together.
Right. I mean, I think just like it's unfair to brand anybody that's religious in one direction or the other, I think it's the same for people that may not be religious. There are plenty of firearms owners that just don't get into that, and they don't want to be branded just as much as the religious people do not want to be branded a certain way. I think that's. Go ahead.
It just reminds me. I saw there's some new gun group a couple months ago that's popping up in California, and it's like the liberal California gun group. So they have a liberal. They lean liberal, but they like to shoot too. I don't know where they hold stand on a modern semi-automatic rifle, but they're just trying to make a point where they're kind of anti-NRA, but they like guns. I don't know. It just kind of clinches your point that there's lots of people that own guns. You can't brand it all.
Yeah, for sure. Now I believe Whitey had a question for you at this point.
I believe that's actually Eb's question. The 300 blackout?
No, we were going to talk about Camp His Way. That is Dustin's camp. That is for kids, basically, correct?
Sorry. Yeah, I lost my place. So basically, I want to know, because when I talked to Dustin, it was, I don't know, it was like 3 in the afternoon or 2 in the afternoon on like a Wednesday, and he was like, I got kids doing archery, I got to go. It's 2 in the afternoon on a Wednesday. So how does, like, what's the whole premise behind Camp His Way? And, are these kids, like, homeschooled? Are they, like, half-day kids? Like, how's the time frame didn't, like, really, I made a comment to the guy, I was like, I don't know why he's got, like, kids doing archery in the middle of the day. So, like, tell us all about Camp His Way, man. That's what it boils down to.
Well, this is like, okay, anyway, we'll just start from the beginning, because I don't know if that was recent or whatnot, but Camp His Way, is like Camp like God's Way. My parents founded the place. My mom was a children's pastor, it was back in the early 90s and whatnot, and always struggling to find a good camp for kids to go to. You have to go clear across Texas to find anything affordable and all, and so just felt God calling her to build our own. And we were down in Orange, Texas, so we wanted to do something around the lake area and found some property here, and it was, it was a whole just kind of God thing how it all fell together. And that was about 96, 97 it started. We started small and just grew from there. So today, we'll have around 2,000 kids come through in the summer, and we're primarily built as like a summer Christian kids church camp.
Wow.
And the majority of campers that come in are elementary age kids, ages 6 through 12. They come from, anywhere from close by to about 4 to 6 hours away. And, we'll just have a big fun time out here. I'm looking out the windows because we have like a petting zoo and water slide and barrel go round
petting
ride.
Zoo?
Huh?
You have a petting zoo?
Goats, ducks, pig, all that stuff.
I think it's time for a field trip.
We were on the lake, so we did canoeing and fishing and swimming and all that, archery, and I upgraded the marksmanship stuff a lot since Top Shot. We ride horses, and we just have a grand old fun time, and most of all, in the evening times, just teaching about God and His Word and how to live right. And so that's the main part of camp. In the off season, like this weekend, I'm doing a marksmanship camp, and that just came about from Top Shot. Because the camp was already booked to capacity every summer. We're that popular, and we keep our prices real low because all of our staff are volunteers, so that lets us do that. And so it's like $135 for a kid to come Monday through Friday. But for the marksmanship, the marksmanship camps on the weekend, I tell people I set up what I wanted to do, and I let kids do it.
That's awesome.
So we start off with archery, then we do the big cold steel blowguns, tomahawks, knife throwing, the shovel throwing. We do slingshots. We even set up a rock throwing place, mainly because I wanted everybody to know how stinking hard it was. While they were laughing at me at Top Shot, it wasn't easy. But when it gets dark, we'll ride down the zip line at night, shooting paintball targets. Then we'll do pellet rifles. We have like unstable platforms and whatnot. And then all day Sunday we'll do. Start off with the Savage bolt actions. Do the AR Smith & Wesson M&P 22s, the MP5 types, and then we end up with the full quartz and custom. So we just have a lot of fun.
It sounds like it, man. That's a place I would like to visit. I would like to definitely come down there for something like that. You don't see that all around the country for sure. You definitely don't see that kind of perspective on marksmanship and in like a camp. You see it more as like at least from my perspective, you see guys traveling around and doing tactical training, but nothing where you can go to a location and try all kinds of marksmanship and firearms and primitive weapons and things like that. I think that's really neat.
Yeah, I've been asked to take it on the road a lot, but it's like, I already have my hands full here. I don't see that happening. It's a lot easier when they come to me.
Yeah, you don't have to constantly set up everything and just make people come to you. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
So speaking of the children and things like that, it's something that is clearly a passion of yours to educate the youth, and I think that's really respectable. I try to, whenever I interact with a kid that's somewhat interested in firearms, I always try to spend some time with them and tell them exactly what they need to know and get them started on that path, much like what you do. And I think Ebbs was kind of, we were talking earlier, and he had a question for you, I believe, about getting kids started in hunting, right?
No, that wasn't it. It was specifically related. One of your for anybody who's watching and doesn't know, you and your wife foster children in your home, and you recently just adopted one of them. Is that
right?
Yeah, and so you've been, following you on social media and stuff. I've seen you posting a lot of pictures of hunting with her and spending time with her. This morning, even you posted a picture about how homeschooling is awesome because she was reloading. You had her reloading for homeschool, which I think is fantastic.
That's the best idea you've ever had.
Slave labor for homeschooling is brilliant. But you had posted, I think it was back in the fall or it might have been December, where she was hunting with you, and she took a deer with your 300 Blackout pistol suppressed. And so a question that popped up as soon as I saw that was, or a couple things just sort of crossing over with each other. You have hunting with a pistol, you have hunting with a rifle caliber in a pistol platform, and then you have hunting suppressed. And so you being located in Texas, which has a lot of freedoms that some states don't, I was just curious if you could kind of touch on and explain if there are any intricacies to hunting with a pistol, because if it's a rifle round, if that's even considered hunting with a pistol, if in Texas they're like it's it goes boom, so or it goes psh, so it's a legal means of of taking an animal in Texas. So I was just curious if you could expound on that a little bit, not just hunting with your daughter, but hunting with that specific platform too.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I write for Texas Fish and Game magazine, and so they had me. They just kind of give me free reign. Sometime I got columns and all their monthly stuff, and that's the print editions as well as the online blog and whatnot. And so I wanted to make just a optimum East Texas rifle. You can't say Texas because you travel 14 hours west and then it's a whole new world out there.
Right.
But here where I am in deep East Texas, it's all forest. And I used to hunt with my 308 and stuff, and I'm like, unless you find a big, huge open field or shoot down a power line path, you're not going to get past 50, 60 yards. And who needs a 308 for that?
Right.
And so 300 Blackout, was getting more and more attention. I wanted to do one, and right about that time, we only regained a little freedom with the suppressor on hunting for game animals about 2 years ago. Before that, you could only use it for non-game, so that's like coyotes and hogs and whatnot.
Right.
So after they said, hey, free reign, do whatever you want, I'm like, okay, now we're talking. And shoot, I love suppressors in the first place, and I almost always shoot with them. And I kind of live close by a lake community here, and they hate me because we're always shooting. So that's one reason I try to suppress. But it's just practical when you're out in the woods, and you don't have to wear ear protection or whatever. I know a lot of guys just hunt without it anyway, but if you're in a box blind and you fire off a round, you may be so focused it doesn't bother you that much, but it can hurt.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And so that's part of it, but then you're not spooking all the game everywhere. Coyote or hog comes out, I don't hesitate. I pop the booger, and then you're not going to scare off your deer that you came out there for. And I mean, when Katie shot that deer, there was others around it, and they stood there. And we waited for it to officially expire for about 5 minutes, and she went to go get it, and I wanted a good picture where we had daylight, and we start walking, and then they finally walk away. So, suppressors aren't all like Hollywood says, but it sure does help. But anyway, when you suppress a regular rifle, the sucker ends up being 30, 40 inches longer and everything else. Right. And when you're in a box blind or moving around in the forest, that's not cool. And unless you get the SBR stamp, another infringement, we have to, but you can go the whole pistol route.
Right.
And so I just recently put one of those SIG arm brace on it, a pistol brace, and that helps out a bit. Pistol brace, yeah. And that's, and plus with my daughter, she's a little smaller framed, and she loves my ARs and stuff because you just collapse it down. I love the red dots. You don't have to worry about parallax and eye relief and everything else. And I was honestly quite impressed because she shot that doe that Ebbs was talking about. It was over 100 yards with the aim point, and she nailed it. The sucker ran about 30 yards and just face planted. And
wow.
Like in a creek, like a little small ditch with water, and it was splash. I was like, yeah, well, first of all, everybody does love suppressors. You're right. And I've been following you and notice how big you are into them. Are you when you're hunting with that, and just for my own curiosity of wondering how quiet it is, are you shooting those subsonic? Or are you shooting like the supersonic, like 110 grain 300 blackout loads?
Yeah, for my daughter's deer, she actually loaded her own 124 Nosslers, but normally I'll have the 110 VMAX. What did I lay into those hogs? Oh, okay, the machine gun one where I shot off all the pigs. Yeah, that was just awesome. But I knocked 8 down. Just if the landowner was with me and gave me his M16, and so I lower his upper suppressor and everything else and had some fun with it. Those hogs aren't coming around much anymore, which is understandable. Where were we going with this? Oh yeah, how quiet it was. You hear the crack, and I relate it to like a 22 long rifle. The ballistic crack that you don't muffle on a supersonic round. And that's what I shoot, is still supersonic most of the time, because shooting a subsonic is like shooting an arrow or throwing a rock. And if you do not know your range, it's not going to do what it's going to drop beyond where you're thinking. And also just the lethality, you don't have the shock of the trauma wound and everything. You'll kill it, but you may have to track it a little bit. So I haven't done subsonic much. You need to get closer for that. Night stalking hogs and whatnot, you could go subsonic and maybe get a few more down, because you're talking equivalent to a quiet paintball gun when you're shooting subsonics.
Cool, man. That's pretty much what I wanted to know. And I am greedy when it comes to quiet. I get pretty greedy, and so knowing how accurate those could be with subsonic. It's hard to not just want to have the squirt of air followed even by the click of the bolt as it cycles. So, but that's cool, man. I think it's awesome you got out there, and look forward to seeing more pictures of dead animals.
My question kind of comes off of that. You said it was an AR pistol. Is that technically a semi-auto handgun in Texas, or is it just irrelevant?
No, yeah, it is. It's only well, it would depend on like the only time you'd have to explain it is say in Texas you don't have to have a rifle concealed, but a pistol has to be. Like there's no open carry here. Well, okay, they say you can open carry rifles. You can if you want to get arrested and questioned, but so when I'm in my car, the only legality part is I make sure I got that AR pistol in a case, whereas an AR rifle I can just throw in the front seat and be fine. But a lot of cops may not know the difference, and they may not even know the SBR law. They may not know suppressor laws. Cops aren't lawyers. It's not their job to know all that. Us guys that live by the law and do everything by the ATF have to. So when I built this, I took a virgin lower and I registered is the wrong word, but I filled out my form 4473. And my gun shop owner helped me through it. He's like, we're going to define this one as a pistol, and he made me a copy of it in case there's ever any trouble. That it's not a SBR that I didn't register at the ATF and have engraved and all that jazz. So it's technically and legally a semi-automatic pistol, even though it's freaking huge.
in Pennsylvania, where I was kind of going with that, in Pennsylvania, there are laws that you are not allowed to use. First of all, we can't use anything semi-automatic. But as far as handgun hunting goes, yeah, we are one of the few states remaining with a traditional flintlock season where guys put on coonskin hats and go out and hunt. It's a different world. It's a different world. But we're not allowed to use semi-automatic handguns and things of that. So I was just kind of curious as to how that falls into the hunting regulations.
I guess every state's different. The only thing you cannot hunt game animals with is a rimfire, and as long as it's free game.
That's awesome.
We have a muzzleloader season, but there's an archery season. But besides that, kill from a chopper. Okay, that's just good.
So while we're on the topic of hunting, what is the ultimate Dustin Ellerman animal to hunt? What is your favorite animal to hunt?
I love hogs. You can just do it year-round. You can do however you want. There's no rules and regulations to get you in trouble. I try to follow the law so close, but when you talk about deer hunting, if from county to county, and if the antlers are 12.5 inches, you get super fined instead of 13-inch spread and everything else.
Wow.
So while I like deer meat, I like just murdering hogs.
Man, I am so jealous of you right now. I mean, in a major way. Because I thirst for it so much. I mean, I want to walk out my door, and I live in town, so there's no hogs running around. But I want to just walk out my door and find a hog, and chase it down in the street, and with like a Bowie knife slash its jugular, and then eat its heart in front of oncoming traffic. That's how bad. That's how bad I want to kill hogs right now.
Wow!
I can't lie.
I did not know that about you.
Wow.
Well, did you see that video where they're in Russia, where these wild boars loose on the street tearing people up, and they end up like smashing it with a kitchen sink?
I did see that. Use what you have. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
I didn't see
Gotta make
that.
it happen. I feel like we need to do some searching after the show so we can watch that.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, on that same topic, what would you recommend hog hunting to somebody that's brand new to hunting in general, or would you say stick with something like deer to get started? White-tailed deer is pretty much the most popular animal to hunt in North America, I would say. And do you think that's the way to go, or do you think hog hunting would be a little bit more fun and educational?
I do like hog hunting all around. My daughter wants to kill one, but somebody scared them off with machine gun fire, like I said, and so they're not coming around so much. But where she's, sometimes she's on the deer kind of cute thing. It's like hog, Let's get them. And one of the reasons is there's so many different ways to do it. If you want to, go hunting at night for them, or just find out where they're tearing up, and they need to be hunted because they are tearing up, just thousands and thousands of acres of property all the time, wrecking property and tearing up fence lines, and there's a lot of people that all like animal rights until a group of hogs tears up their favorite golf course, then it changes a little. But what I like about it is you can you don't have to stalk and stuff so much. You just can lay out some corn and you can just wait and listen, like sometimes I'm out there. You'll hear them 10 minutes before they get here. You'll hear just a grunt, and then they come in like a pack, and they're easy to hunt too. And so I think it's a great thing, and it'll be easier to find that opportunity as well. Although it is also a business, and land is always limited. But finding someone that'll let you shoot a deer off their place is a lot harder and more expensive than finding someone who will let you come and take care of some hogs.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think we can all agree that that's something we've all wanted to do for a very long time. As soon as, back when, I guess it was probably 5-6 years ago when hog hunting started to become more popular and they started to spread northward in the country, it definitely just took off in popularity. I mean, I built, my first AR was a 50 Beowulf, and I built that with the freaking purpose of shooting hogs. Now, I haven't done it yet because that gun keeps beating itself apart, but that's what it's built for, and that's what I want to do with it. I think the Beowulf cartridge would be fantastic for just one-hit kills. Oh, that's sure. I just boom, 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 dead pigs everywhere, bacon for everybody.
And I'm doing the exact opposite of that right now. My magazine assigned me an editorial air rifle for hogs.
Ooh, so, okay.
I got a Crossman 25 caliber Marauder, and it's stinking quiet, but it's got the same ballistics as a 22 short. That clear ballistics gel, I was getting a solid 11 inches of penetration on that.
Really?
And so I'm like, you put it where you need to, you can drop the smaller ones. And then for backup, I got Pyramid Air to send me a 357 pellet rifle that shoots 9mm bullets. You just take a 115 grainer and put it in the breech and go. But
wow.
That sucker's thinking loud, so I got both worlds there. We'll see what happens.
So just the bullet, not even like a full round, just the head.
Yeah, it's PCP, the true charge pneumatic, and 3,000 psi, and yeah.
Wow. Like, I am excited right now. Like, I want to go look that up.
Is that air rifle that you're working on? Is that one of those suppressed models?
No. Gammo makes the suppressed ones.
Okay.
But Crossman, I was doing one of their reviews for the MAR-15. And it's really kind of cool. It's an AR-15 upper pellet rifle.
Wow. Okay.
And it's weighted, and it's super accurate. It's not too powerful. It's 177 caliber. It's made for just practicing, but you can use your AR lower. And so I was working with them with that, and then I was like, hey, I need to kill some hogs, and so they sent me that Marauder, but it doesn't need a suppressor. It couldn't get quieter.
It's just naturally quiet. Okay, that's pretty cool. Now, I think Whitey was going to bring up a topic here.
Yeah, we were supposed to segue.
Yeah.
We don't have a segue for this. So basically, it's a question that I have 2 children, little known fact about Whitey. 2 children. One is a 4-year-old precocious young man who insists he is Thor and Captain America and Spider-Man, and he cannot wait for me to take him to the range.
Yes.
So he knows what I do. He knows, he's seen them. He knows the difference between a rifle and a pistol. He knows no touching, find an adult. He knows finger off the trigger, don't point at anything. Like, he has toy stuff that other people get him, and it's, as someone who did not grow up with firearms in the home, I've never been hunting. I am part of a newer generation of people that are just like, I can do this, I'm going to go do it, and now I love guns. What is everyone always says, start them young, and that's kind of where it ends. Do you have any kind of input or insight when to start teaching, when to start actually putting them on a trigger, caliber to start with? Should it be an air rifle? Any kind of insight. I think not just me, but there's a lot of young parents and new parents out there would probably appreciate some because you deal with kids, so.
Yeah, sure. And I have them of all ages. You know, I got a baby being born next week or so, and I have a 5-year-old, 8-year-old, and 14-year-old, and a 2-year-old. Forgot her, and her name is Arrow. So
Nice.
But you know, oh my goodness. Okay, I took my kid shooting the other day. Well, actually, I didn't take the 5-year-old. He's not that interested. He shot with me 2 or 3 times, 22s. The first time, he didn't even care. I don't even know if he pulled the trigger. I wasn't going to make him. He's just hanging out with us at the range. The second time, he liked working the bolt. He liked just the mechanical stuff. He wanted to load it for me and me shoot. I had no problem with that. But then afterwards, his biggest highlight was finding roly-polies under the trash can at the range. And you know, but when I have had him lined up on site, he's whacking golf balls at 25 yards. But you know, he's like, whatever. I'd rather play Lego Batman on Xbox. And so he took his shooting time, and I played Lego Batman with him. And then I have my 2-year-old who's in her playpen, seeing us carry the guns out of the house. I want to shoot. I want 22s. And so she wants to, but she's totally not ready. But it's going to depend on all, you know, every kid's going to be different, and when they're ready, and you're just going to have to gauge that. But my formula for this is just baby steps. You know, starting them off, of course, with airsoft, even before we did air rifles. I don't have any airsoft rifles, but I had them on airsoft pistols, or, you know, better yet, they like playing with Mike Hughes' cert. Yeah. But you have to be careful with that because it looks so real and it feels so real. My 2-year-old don't know the difference between that, you know, and so she may pick that up. So we start keeping the cert out of reach of kids, so she don't just feel like, oh, I can click red laser, and you know, we're doing a complete no touch. But then, you know, so it's going to be just different. Getting something that's their size is a big deal. Making sure you're not putting some huge air rifle on them, and that's why I was using those propane charged, or you're supposed to use green gas, you know, for the airsoft pistols, and at least then they're cycling themselves. But besides that, I don't recommend going pistols with kids at all. Okay. You know, we don't start at the marksman camp. I don't, you know, we do like single action revolvers, but we don't do that till the teen camp. So anyway, but you know, we do it with the, you know, eye protection, just get them down some trigger control and work with them that. And then of course the air rifles, we have, you know, I got all the air rifles at camp. We have some Russian IZH things that they're pretty easy to cock, but they got a great trigger, and that's important too. And that's exactly why I picked the rifles, is giving them a good trigger and then just working them up through the dry fire and everything else. I'm not one to push it on them at all, though. Just wait till they're ready. You know, let them play Lego Batman until they want to come. But then when you shoot with them, of course, we're starting off at a bench, sandbags, all that jazz, and start them off close. You know, instant gratification, close paper target, and just making sure they're on target. A fun one is ice. I freeze cups of ice, or even if you got to freeze some gallon jugs because they stink. You know, like the big ice cream tubs, and put some food dye in it, and then that gives them some sort of instant gratification, and you can put it close enough that you can't put steel for the ricochet, because besides that, I shoot steel all the time, but you have to be so far back to do that safely. I'm sorry?
It's interesting because it's just in different parts of the country, it's perceived so much differently, and like I said, I could, you know, spit with the wind at my back and I'll hit Massachusetts. Our biggest fear as parents is that they're going to go to school and they're going to say, you know, gun, I have a gun, daddy's got a gun, and then, you know, children's services is at my door. So, I mean, that's, in the Northeast, I mean, that's kind of a real thing. So, but down by you, it sounds like it is what it is. All we can do is change it by, you know, getting more people to the range, by getting more people to understand, but that's another story for another time.
Sure.
What it boils down to is that it sounds like you have it so, I don't think available is the word, but visible. It's not really a hidden thing. It's not like pornography under the mattress, you know, under your uncle's bed kind of thing. It's the 2-year-old sees you leaving with a rifle, whereas when my son was 2, it was like, all right, he's going down for a nap. I'm gonna pack the truck up and I'm gonna go shoot some video for the site. So I mean, but nowadays, like I said, he knows what it is. We brought him to the range, just kind of drove through, stayed in the car, so he could see what other people shooting looked like. He's seen me hold and manipulate. We were actually just discussing letting him use the SIRT pistol because I was teaching him how not to muzzle sweep.
Yeah.
He's good, finger off the trigger, and not to point at things, but when no one's looking. So I appreciate all the advice, and I hope all the viewers out there as well appreciate the little tips. So, moving on.
No, it's good to get a different perspective. There are so many different ways to raise a child these days, and it's a rough world. So any kind of, I guess, collaboration on something that we all appreciate and love, such as firearms, I mean, that's nothing but a win.
And here's something too. I make them earn shooting. They have to go out to my range and pick up all my brass first.
So you got them reloading. You got them picking up the brass. Do they clean guns too? Do you make them do that?
No, but someone was putting that on my Facebook too. I was like, you know what? It is about time to do that.
That's right. Yeah, I need to do that. Brandon Maloney, one of our viewers out there, he's a regular. Shout out to Brandon. He's asking, what about shooting for the fun of it? A lot of what we do as firearms enthusiasts these days has been talk about, the government's going to take our guns. We need to be prepared defensively, or like we were talking about earlier, we were talking about hunting. What about just shooting for the fun of it? Is that something you still do regularly?
That's like all I do. I mean, because it's hard to not have fun. The only time I'm not having fun is load development. I just don't have patience for that. And when I'm hand loading and just trying to tighten my groups, I just get frustrated. You just want something to give me a clover leaf, and then we're done. But I mean, I was out yesterday because Brittany had taken the kids in, and I was just working late, and so I went out there right before dark, and I'm shooting my Walther PPS carry gun at 75 yards, just making sure I can group at that range, and just it's fun.
Yeah, I think that's something that I kind of miss about shooting. A lot of what the three of us do, and you do somewhat with writing for the Fish and Game magazine down there. I know we get out and we constantly shoot for the purpose of reviewing and things like that. And with a camera there, it kind of changes the dynamic a little bit. But to get out and blast off rounds just for fun, like for me, my happy place is shooting sporting clays. That's the thing that I think a lot of people miss out on these days. It's a shame.
And fun targets and how you shoot's a big deal. And I know there's a lot of just Nazi ranges that don't let you shoot anything but paper, and you can't draw and stuff. And that's where I'm real blessed to have my own little range, as long as I don't get too loud here. But I like shooting fast, and I just shoot that steel. And when it gets too easy at 15 yards, you just back it up. And I found when I was practicing for Top Shot, I just found my comfortable distance while I'm doing some 3-gun right after that. And so I figured I'd better know what my distance was. And I'm shooting my 6 and 8 inch steel at 35 and 40 yards. I was like, oh crud, I'm a little too far back. I need to scoot in again.
That's awesome, man. I'm jealous. I wish I had a little range to just run out to and run some drills and blast some steel. Shooting steel is quite possibly the best thing you can do with metallic cartridges. That is the most rewarding thing ever.
It's like clays blowing up, but for everyone else who doesn't do that. It's just ring-a-ding, ding, ding, ding. It's what does the fox say every time you... It is gratifying.
Yeah. So, you said that you get out and shoot the steel as much as you possibly can. What do you shoot with?
I really like my 9s. I have a Springfield XDM that Springer Precision fixed up for me for 3 guns, and so I'll play around with that. Taryn Butler got me tweaked with one of his Glock 34s, and I really like that. He's got the trigger guard and stuff cut so you get way up in there, and with a good trigger as well, and so that's a lot of fun. And plus, it shoots high for me. So I was backing up to 100 yards. I was shooting my 8-inch plates then, so it's like it's zeroed. It's zeroed like a rifle. But I was just loading earlier, so I actually still got it on me. The FNX Tactical. And so you put that with the suppressor on, and that's just a lot of fun because it's just whisper quiet when you're shooting.
It's so good. 45 is one of the best cartridges to possibly suppress, especially that combo. I've shot that combo that you have there, and I did it. The first time I ever did it was without ears, and I was shooting a piece of steel, and it nearly scared the crap out of me at how loud the steel was without a hearing protection. I was like, oh wow, okay, oh wow, that's and then of course, yes, let's do more of that.
Yeah, it's easy, way too easy to go through a lot of that. That's the problem.
So you said that you were practicing for Top Shot. Since you did Top Shot, has your life changed that much, or any difference in way of life, or do you do more out and about with the rest of the shooting community because of it? I mean, tell us about life after Shot.
Well, it was funny because the producers I guess they could see more than I could. You know, I'm looking at one challenge at a time, and I knew the next one could be something I'm terrible at, and I could go home. But when I guess, you know, just the same way as y'all watch the show, seeing it from the up top view, I was kind of dominating. But my point of that was the producers were telling me, Dustin, this is going to change your life. Dustin, this is going to change your life. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And once I won, I knew stuff would be a little different, and I was giving it about 6 months. But it's been, goodness, over 2 years now, and I'm still getting called out and booked at all sorts of events and whatnot. The biggest pull for me has been speaking engagements and just talking to men's groups or a lot of sportsmen's banquets, wild game dinners. Sometimes they call them a beast feast, and that's been a great niche and a lot of fun for me. And so I've traveled all over the country and even into Canada speaking at stuff. Then I have done some 3-gun events. That's been a lot of fun, but you know that takes a lot of time and energy too. And so what I love the most is like just being here at camp and like the marksman camps we put on. That's where I get the most fulfillment and just love doing it with the kids and the teens and teaching them and having fun and not having to leave home.
So you said something really interesting there, and I don't know if anybody else picked up or if you don't want to touch on it, but the producers can see from the outside looking in while you're kind of in that forest, you know, among the trees. So does that give you the impression that they just could see like the type of shooter you were and where the next, you know, event was going to take you, or do you think it was kind of molded the way they pick people? I don't want to insinuate this, but did they make it? You know where we're going with this.
Yeah.
Did they mold that? Did they mold it to you, or did they just see that you were going to be the person because they had set up these challenges and Dustin's going to nail that, Dustin's going to nail that, and they could just see the path?
I think they started seeing it, and it was just one producer that said that once. It just stuck to me because he's like saying it's going to change my life. I'm like, no, it's not. But Top Shot, I mean, we'll touch on it. Top Shot's it was real. I went in thinking, oh, they tell people to say this. They tell this person to be a jerk and bully this guy. They stay out of it. Their key word there is organic. They just know how to pick people. And so, you know, you're picking all these goldfish to put in the bowl, and you know how they're going to act. Yeah. They're just real smart at doing that. I mean, in fact, you know, if you want to touch on the fairness part, they have a third party. It's regulated in California law since there's money and a grand prize involved as a game show. So there's a third party of lawyers on site making sure everything's on the up and up. They've got their own stopwatches. They got their little clipboards, and they're always going to the challenge. I don't know, you know, the big wigs and saying, you know, this is right. Or I mean, it goes down to if my gun was off paper or something in a testing, and you know, for our team. And we had to shoot like 5 rounds extra, even though they weren't on paper. They bring the other team back for 5 more rounds, so it's fair. And so it's that insane and crazy. But you know, I guess my point was they saw what I didn't see, because I just knew any next challenge it could be. You know, you talked about clay shooting. I'm not a clay shooter. They could have brought up clays, and I could have gone home. And so that's just how I was, just leery the whole time through, just taking it one challenge at a time. But
that's
at the end, they told me this. It was some of the bigwigs that had interviewed us in the first place to go on. We'd only seen them once or twice, but like an owner of History Channel or something. And they're like, You weren't supposed to win.
It's good to hear because I think a lot of people, are jaded after the years of, Real World and all the other fun stuff. So it's really good to hear that on the inside, it's all about, them putting the right personalities in the right place and just happened to say, hey, we got some good shooters and it was fair and honest.
Dustin, you were super modest at the beginning when you said we were talking to the producers and they kept wanting to talk to me about, what's this camp thing about? And you say you're a Christian, and you said it wasn't because I was a good shooter. I don't think when you said that, I just want to clarify. I don't think you were saying to people that you don't think you're a good shooter, because I remember over 2 years ago when I had my first interview with you for House of Guns, and we talked, and I went and I watched your audition video, and the stuff you were doing with 22s, and you backing up. Well, let's see if we can hit this at 100 yards, and I mean you pulled that golf ball out with that Volquartsen rifle at the end because you knew you could hit it because you shot rimfires, and so I know you're being modest, but it's important that people understand you won that show. You are a good shooter, and that with their formula of what they've got, it's proven that the all-around guys, the guys that aren't just specialized, are the ones that compete the best. And I think you showed that.
I guess.
I love it. I guess.
Yes. See,
growing up, I didn't think I was good. I just thought everybody else stunk.
Well, I'm not trying to back you in the corner and get you to say, well,
humble and modest.
I really am awesome. That's not my goal. I just, with your background, it was just unassuming. And the first show, I told my wife, we were sitting in there watching it, and I was like, he's probably gonna win. And she's like, well, why is he gonna win? I was like, because he's not supposed to. Like they brought him in. They brought him in as food for Jake. That's why he came in, and then you surprised everybody, and it wasn't. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, and that's part of how I won is what you don't understand on Top Shot, or what you can't feel and tell, is the pressure involved. If you've shot matches and stuff, sure, there's some pressure, but when there's a crew of 300 people and 24 HD cameras, and the reminder that this shot could make or break $100,000, the pressure mounts. But that's where I had the advantage because I had nothing to prove. And and I had also just knew that God had me there for a reason. I didn't know if it was to win or not. All I knew is I had to just do my best and trust God with the rest. And so, but between that and not having to deal with that pressure, that's what gave me a big advantage there because I had no title to defend or anything. I was just there to have some fun.
Man, that show looks like an absolute blast. I think that everybody that gets into guns at some point in their life has tried to emulate something that they've seen on that show, whether it's the golf ball shot or some other crazy stuff, and the exploding targets, and I mean it just looks like nothing but fun for you guys. Is it as fun as it looks? On your end, or is it a lot of hurry up and wait? What is it like behind the scenes?
There you go. What I usually say is it was incredibly boring. Because, whatever, what was it, 12 episodes, they're all under an hour each, and so you're talking, like 10 hours of airtime. That was all we shot for 6 weeks. It was about 10 hours. And my first 3-gun competition, I'm like, I've already shot twice as much than I did at Top Shot. Wow. It's so much more action, so much more rounds and everything else. Because, I mean, look at it. For 3 days, look at the 50 cal challenge. 5 rounds in practice, maybe 10. And 1 round for the competition. That's all I did for 3 days. And heck, the other team, when they sit you out, you didn't do nothing for 3 days, because it's always practice, challenge, and elimination. And so doing this stuff was cool, especially when you got to do the Ferris wheel of death and stuff. But on the other hand, you waited 3 days in line to do that. Wow. But hey, I get to have it on video, so it's cool.
and not just regular video. You've got it in slow-mo. You've got it in ultra super mega HD, and with 40 different angles. That show is very, very well shot. It's always impressed me.
It's pretty cool.
So we have a couple questions here from the audience that we'll grab. Goosenheimer says all four of us went to SHOT Show. He wants to know what our favorite item from SHOT Show was. We'll start with Ebbs. We'll start with Ebbs on this one.
Why do I have to go first?
Because I picked you to go. That's how it works. I say you go, and you go.
Oh man, and that's such a hard question because when you're on the show floor, you bump into stuff and you see stuff and you think that like 8 times, especially this was my 3rd year being there, and not to sound like the disenfranchised jerk, but you start to get to be like, well, I've seen that before, or you kind of start walking past stuff. And so some of the stuff that you see or some of the things you get excited about, they might not even be a specific gun, or it could, because it really is a giant gun show. And think of the craziest gun show you've ever been to, and some of the most ridiculous things that you've seen there. People bring their inventions and they set up their table and stuff. And SHOT Show is that times about 4,000. And that's the kind of stuff you start bumping into. You have to have that in mind when you get to the show. I heard your mic turn on, Whitey, so I know you're about to say something.
I was gonna say, what's your favorite wave in the ocean?
Yeah,
that's good.
That's a good way of putting it.
But I'll tell you one of my biggest surprises, and I'm glad I got to go first because no one else can say this, and I'll say surprise at the risk of sounding like a total fanboy, and I'll just cheat and say 2. 1, I thought the Glock 42 would suck, and it did not suck. And 2, the Caracal CS308 bolt-action rifle was, cue the recall jokes, but but it was very smooth. It was very comfortable to shoulder, and they had it on a short range. I think we were only shooting at like 80 yards or under 100 yards or something like that. But putting a 308 168 grain match 308 into it, put it up to your shoulder, light nudge. It was comfortable. It was a good kind of manual of arms, so to speak. It was intuitive, and so I look forward to. I think their release date is going to be a while still, but it was also obvious too that SHOT Show, especially this year, it's like everybody's gone bullpup crazy. Yeah. They're everywhere. Desert Tactical introduced a new semi-auto they're coming out with, or not Desert Tactical anymore. I'm sorry, Desert Tech. There was at the Cryo Precision booth. There was the 612, the forward mount like an M203 grenade launcher that you could just. It's like a super breacher with a 6-shot cylinder, double action, which was pretty rad too. And then Keltec introduced their new 5.56 bullpup kind of as a follow-up to their.
Yeah, but that won't hit store shelves until 2018, so we don't have to worry about the Keltec.
Hey, listen, don't be a jerk, man. They said end of this year, so we'll see about that.
So one will hit the shelf in America.
Okay, so
one in a gun store.
what if we made it interesting?
Okay. Hey, that doesn't count because none of us have those. Ebbs is holding up a quartermaster knife for those of you that don't know. Again. That thing is absolutely gnarly. He shows it off all the time. It looks fantastic. Whatever. Moving on. There it is. It looks blue. I don't know why.
Hey, Dustin, made in Texas, buddy. Hill country, not far from you.
How come they haven't sent me one?
You need to get hooked up with him. Moving on. Whitey, go ahead. Top. What'd you like at SHOT Show?
I'll do 2 like Ebbs. There was so many. I think I've said it a million times. I think this year was kind of a do-over for last year's SHOT Show. There was no overhanging political drama, and this is all for naught. So there's a bunch of cool stuff and a lot of energy that wasn't there last year. So it was very easy to get overwhelmed. There's 2 that I liked. One is Black Rain Ordnance. Their suppressor was probably the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. What was it? 38 decibels? Like, not like 30 decibel reduction. It was like 38 decibels.
You know what's crazy about SHOT Show that a lot of people that don't get to go don't quite understand is you mentioning that right now is the first time I've heard of that. That's how much stuff gets shown off at SHOT Show.
Yeah, it was literally.
You'll be missing stuff for a year. Go, what? When did that come out?
And that was 7.62. And I mean, God, you're both going to castrate me for what I'm about to say because we've had so many discussions about this particular company. But the SIG P320.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Hey, you know what? Hey, I don't blame you. It's neat. It's different. It's new for SIG, and you want to try it out. Sure.
No one will know about it. I mean, because the only place that you're going to see any social media mention of it is someone like me who goes, finally a striker fire pistol that has a SIG like a trigger, trigger like a SIG. That's SIG like a trigger, SIG like a trigger, like whatever. A trigger like a SIG. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you know, the M&P is crunchy. Even the Pro, even the Apex. So just keep your comments to yourself in the peanut gallery. It's like, just stop it already. In Glock, you have to buy several stuff. All I've ever wanted out of a striker fire pistol was like my 226 trigger, and that one nails it. I mean, the ergonomics are there, the functionality is there. It has the potential to be a great gun, but no one will ever know.
Why do you say no one will ever know? Expand on that.
Some companies, and I don't know if Dustin can back me up on this, some companies don't really kind of agree with social media. They still view things like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, reviews as to be less worthy or of less value than I'll just buy a page ad and recoil, which for one doesn't make anyone's life easier. And when you go through a third-party company, because you're not dealing directly with, you know, a SIG or a Smith or anybody else, it kind of has a disconnect to it. So sometimes getting a hold of these things to kind of get the common people, you know, the people, what they're looking for. I don't know. Have you had any experience? I mean, I know you're Top Shot Dustin Ellerman. You're the best in the world. So, I mean, you're just like, I just call this guy and boom, I have it delivered. But I mean, do you run into any of that?
Yeah, I've had some of that experience, and especially when you talk about some of the overseas Germanish companies. You know, just
Germanish.
HK. Oh.
Hey, you watch your mouth. You watch your mouth.
Some of these guys make great guns, but they could care less about the American civilian market, and their marketing sucks. And they've got good stuff. I've always been a Walther fanboy, but it's like they never advertise. They've got this great P99, you know, now they got the PPQs and everything, and they're getting on board now. You know, they're seeing more social media. I'm hearing radio ads with Gun Talk. I'm hearing, and they want to help and serve gun writers and stuff too. And so Walther's getting there because they've got some good stuff that could shake the polymer market too. But then, you know, like you were saying with SIG or HK, and sometimes, like even Smith & Wesson, I was talking with Jerry Mitchell about getting an M&P for competition. He was like, I've been shooting for 25 years, and they don't help me out. So I was like, oh, okay. So, but you know, you do. And then you have ones that just are awesome. Customer service and media relations, like Springfield's always been one that'll just help out with anything and everything, and so you just have different company cultures in a way, and so yeah.
It's good to hear that it's not just us.
So let's go back to the SHOT Show topic. Dustin, what are a couple things that stood out to you at the show?
You know, I actually had to go to my blog right now myself and remind myself. I was like, what was cool? And, you know, this was my third show. You know, the first time you're like, wow, over stimulus. The second one, it's like, it's still wow, but you get to, the booths are in the same place. I'm like, hey, I'm getting used to this. I think this was my third show, and I was just, for me, this time around, it was just focus on networking and saying hi to everybody I knew. That's what this show is about, is just re-meeting and greeting everybody and just touching base with all my contacts and saying how I like their stuff or whatever and just moving on. So nothing stood out too much. You know, a lot, like they were saying, it was just a rerun of previous shows. It's like there wasn't, you know, I remember the XDS was new. Now it has an inch longer barrel. Woohoo! You know, it's just another variant on an old theme. There was nothing really shock or new awesome. And so, check out my blog at Fish Game. I got 3 pages of just, quick, this was cool. But then, I watched House of Guns and Five Guys. That's the burgers. There are 4 guys.
I do love a tasty burger, though.
Anyway, I'll see stuff that's like, dang it, I missed that.
Yeah.
And so, I walked the whole place as much as I could, and you still miss things. And so, I can't say what I saw was the coolest. Nothing really shocked me.
John,
Okay.
I thought of a couple more, and he said I went and looked at my blog. I was like, hey, I should do that. It was announced last year, but they're getting ready to go into production. The Volquartsen Custom 17 Winchester Super Mag. It's a rimfire that basically is half again as powerful as a 17 HMR, which is super cool. Magpul introduced their MS4 slings, and the sling adjustment loop on it it was incredible. Blew my mind. I was like, I feel stupid for being so excited about it, but it's awesome. And then the one other thing that stuck out to me that I totally spaced on is old Bushmaster Wind and Weaponry introduced an AR-10 that's like 7 pounds. So compared to a typical AR pattern 7.62 NATO, it only weighs 7 pounds, ready to go. So I thought that was pretty awesome too. Sorry to interrupt again.
No, we also shouldn't forget the Nemo Arms Battle Wagon. That thing,
that
thing drew so much attention, and it's not a gun.
Well, it had guns sticking out the front of it.
What about John? John?
There are a few things that stood out to me. The one of the things that I didn't get to play with was the Mag Tactical, I think it is. They have like a 4-pound rifle, AR-15.
MagTech, magnesium, yeah.
Yeah, super light, carbon fiber forend. Really light. I would really like to check that out because, you guys out there that are familiar with my channel, I have that the Chaos Carbine, and that's a 6-pound piston gun. So anything lightweight, I would love to check out and abuse. But as far as things I really got some time with, I liked the Lancer. I think it was the L30. It's a 308 semi-auto. I guess technically AR-10. They have what I found super unique. They had a really nice muzzle brake on it, but the DMR model had a cutout on the side of the magwell. Basically, this side of the magwell was cut out. So when you're in the prone position, you can just slap the mag in and lock it in without having to lift up the gun like you would normally with like a 20-round mag. You just throw it in there. I also really like that CS308 from Caracal. That was impressive. They had, I guess, one of their proprietary muzzle brakes on there, and I pulled the trigger at Media Day, and my initial impression, you can see it in the video, was, wow, that thing has absolutely no recoil. And for a 308, you're shooting something. So I was thoroughly impressed. As far as things that weren't guns, the Crazy Quail, I'm a big clay shooter, and it's basically 4 clay throwers that spin around and randomly throw clays. And they had it up near the Benelli booth, and they had I guess it was an M2 maybe with an X-Rail, which is that like giant multi-tubular magazine on it. And I got up there, boom, 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 and I'm busting them. And I was like, I need one of these in my backyard, man. That is freaking cool.
Did you put up a video of that?
No, because the video you can't even see the clays, unfortunately. Like they just you can see like a couple of them, but that, and I didn't want to embarrass them because the X-Rail was not functioning. But
you take on 4 guys' guns. That much I know.
A couple surprises that people might not know. Kimber showed up at Range Day for the first time ever, and
no one cared.
I did. Because they teamed up with Gemtech on some suppressor packages that were pretty cool.
Oh, that's nice. Man, I missed this stuff, man.
So that was they had a 9 and they had a 45, and both were just buttery smooth. And they were their, I want to say TS models or RT. They were rail model 1911s, and those were pretty slick.
So wait, let me get this straight. Kimber had one, a 9mm 1911 with a threaded barrel?
Yes.
Wow, that'd be pretty cool. If it doesn't rust to pieces, I will be impressed.
Well, yeah, okay. So there's an observation from Range Day. Another observation that I was excited about, but I was disappointed in, was the Benelli Ethos.
Okay.
I did not. I felt like it was. I felt like it was kind of loose, and I handled 2 different ones just to be sure that I wasn't a lunatic. It was super lightweight. Then the last observation is the industry, as we collective, we have gone absolutely batty. Like it was, and still is, micro pistols, tiny pocket pistols, and the development of those. But we have gone super lightweight crazy on large rifles, large caliber. AR platform rifles, are just nuts over it, and muzzle brakes. We are absolutely just losing our minds over muzzle brakes, round and round and round. And there's some good ones out there, but you just kind of see the trend and how that evolves, and even everybody. And it's not just, hey, we built this rifle and we put this muzzle brake on it. It's rifle shops, gun companies, they're just developing their own. Like, the technology's out there, and everybody's robbing each other, and they're just putting their own muzzle brakes on their guns now. It's just another interesting thing.
Yeah, that's definitely something I think we've all seen, especially on the AR platform. I mean, everybody has their own muzzle device, and I would say that some of them end up being copies or super, super similar to others, and some are just there for show and ineffective, but there are a few gems out there that really, really work well, and I think it's cool to see the market, like, just, if it's full of similar items, somebody has to take that extra step to make theirs better and more functional and just a better overall product, and I think that is what will drive the muzzle brake market into a new kind of a new level. I have a question for you, Dustin.
Right.
You said you've gone to multiple SHOT Shows. This is your 3rd one. Out of all those trips, what was your favorite? Like, pick like a favorite moment. You've been there multiple times. What do you remember the most? What stands out the most about SHOT Show to you?
Man, I don't know. The first time the media day at the range, because that was even my first day at SHOT Show, and hey, we shot stuff all day. I hung out in 511's booth most of the time, but hey, we had guns and we were at the range, and so we'd just go back and forth with the pepper poppers and stuff like that. So, I guess I like meeting people, getting to try the new stuff first. I remember envying one of my friends as outdoor riders, like, man, you get to see all the new stuff, and now, yeah, I am the kid in the candy store, but SHOT Show is just so busy, it's hard to take it all in. But definitely, that first time's always the best time, just getting overwhelmed, and it's like, I'm never going to a gun show again. Just go see it all at SHOT, and it's all good.
Yeah, I went to, I'm sure some people know, I work in a retail gun shop, and
cool.
We went to a gun show recently, and I just looked around and went, man, this is just underwhelming. It's just so unimpressive. Yeah. You're like, yeah, I met the guy that invented that, and this company was really cool and super nice, this kind of ammo, and all sorts of things like that. That was a very good comparison. Yes, a regular gun show is not the same. I think we're getting closer to the end. There was one question I think Ebbs was going to ask you. Ebbs, if you want to take that last one.
Yeah, no problem. As it relates to you touched a little bit on SHOT Show and how things have changed for you, but just curious, you are, and you were and still are, the director of Camp His Way. I mean, you still do that. I mean, yeah. That's still who you are. With all the kids you have, which I think you listed like 24 or something earlier, and all the traveling you do, and even being on shows like this, getting late at night, and you've got kids in the house and stuff. I mean, is that something that you would do again, given the choice and knowing everything that's happened, or would you say, you know what, the opportunities were cool, but things are just kind of weighing on me a little bit too much?
I mean, I just kind of put it like God had a plan the first time, and it's worked out that way. I don't travel too much. I do try to stay home. We had to rearrange. Thursday nights are usually daddy night, so we usually shoot or wrestle or do some sort of activity, go bike riding something. We moved that to Friday tonight. But
well, thank you for that.
yeah, no problem. I had the opportunity to go on Top Shot season All Stars season 5, and they were asking me to come in as a competitor, but it was during camp. I was like, I was going to miss the last 2 weeks of camp, and so once I looked at the dates, okay, I thought about it for about 5 minutes because it's like, yeah, that'd be cool, and it was fun, but it's like, hey, those dates don't work for me, and I can't, camp can't do it without me, and it's just a no. And from the beginning, my plan was to just come back down and settle here in the middle of the woods and just go back to what I do, and that is what I do. I don't have any desire to go and spend any more time away from home or pursue fame. Like I know some of these guys just try to get on TV show after TV show after getting that attention, and it's been cool. But like I said before, God's still blessing me from way back when. It's been 2.5 years now, and I'm still getting pulled into some places, and so it's done what it needed to do, and I get the most fulfillment from what I do out here. So that's where I am.
That's awesome.
That's really, really, really
well said.
Yeah, very well said, and that's why everybody loves you. There's one more question for you that we had in the reserves, and I think this will ring true with a lot of people. I know you're a big fan of the 22 long rifle cartridge and have been for years and years. How do you feel about people out there hoarding 22 ammo?
Yeah, I was on the phone with a pastor friend of mine yesterday, and they're like, what are they doing? I was like, what do you mean they? There is no they. It's us. We're doing it. There's no conspiracy. Hey, we're just, and that's the worst thing that happened is, heck, we escaped all federal legislation from the scare and everything else, and we stood up and said, heck no. But, people are scared. They saw the ammo shelves bare once, and now they don't stop. And I'm split both ways sometimes when I see stuff, a $20 box go for $110 on Lucky Gunner. It's like I'm a capitalist too and a businessman, but at the same time, that's that's crazy.
Yeah.
And if we would stop doing it to ourselves, it would stop. But I was a hoarder before hoarding was cool. And people are asking how I do the marksman camps. Well, when I knew I was going to do marksman camps, I'd go in every week with like a $100 bill to Walmart. Everybody look at me like I'm stupid, and I'd come out with 4 or 5 of the federal boxes of ammo early 2012. And now all of a sudden, the ammo's gone. But what you had, my own stocks were about running out for the marksman camp. But we got to cool it down. If everybody's buying all they can every time, we're never going to see the end of it. I heard about some. It was a major company and supplier for the U.S. They were talking about their 22 predictions. They're looking at still 3 years before it gets back to normal. And I was at a local pawn shop the other day, and the guy was telling me, "I'm not stopping until I'm sitting on 1 million rounds. It'll be about 35 grand, but I'm not." So that's the reason why we can't find it. And so, and then the popularity of the 22 and all these AR awesome, 22 guns and stuff is part of it, and the new shooters, but, we got to cool it down, and until we all cool it down, we'll never see a steady supply.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. We were talking about this last night, and it's shocking to see how many people are still hanging on to that mentality of, I don't know if I'll be able to get any, so I'm going to buy every single round I possibly can afford. It's shocking, really.
I thought we agreed last night that we weren't going to talk about what we talked about last night.
But now we are.
Great.
Wait, no, I didn't bring it up. I didn't bring it up. You're safe.
Brought it up. Way to
But
go.
I heard Whitey's mic turn on, and he was preparing to say something.
All right, listen. If you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. It's okay.
Let's
Nobody will be mad at you.
So, like 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I got asked to leave the sporting goods department at Walmart because there was an altercation with an older gentleman who was bragging about how much .22 long rifle he had.
Oh my!
Okay.
And
I just want to rewind for like 2 seconds and replay that last thing you just said. I got thrown out. I got asked to leave. I got asked to leave the sporting goods department of Walmart because of an altercation with an older guy about .22 ammo. That's where we've come to. That's what happens today.
Well, there was no physical contact or anything like that. It was just some light verbal abuse.
You took his teeth, didn't you?
No.
I want to know. Make me mad. How much did he say he had?
30,000 rounds. Well, this guy, he was the second one. There was one in front of him that had over 10,000, and he had over 30,000 rounds, and he had to be 75 years old.
He ain't shooting it either, is he?
Right.
No. Oh no, he was bragging about not shooting it.
You see, I mean, we'll run through 2,000 rounds a weekend at camp, and so it's like his 30,000 rounds and my 30. I don't have 30,000 at all, but
sure.
Yeah, that is aggravating.
Yeah, that's really frustrating. I usually when people tell me they have like X amount of rounds, I'm like, wow, you know, if it's some significant amount, oh, you must shoot a lot. And then, if they say no, which happens sadly more often than not these days, they're like, oh, I don't want to shoot it. I don't know when I'll be able to get it. Well, why are you buying it then? Let somebody buy the ammo who's going to shoot it. That's what it's for. It's not there to just sit on the shelf. Go out and shoot,
I'm surprised no one's popped up making more rimfire. I'm sure it's a big capital investment, and I know it's a complicated process, more complicated than centerfires, but come on, guys.
I had actually heard a story from, I think maybe it was ATK. I'm not sure, to be honest. One of the larger manufacturers of ammunition said that rimfire ammo, they don't make any money on that, so they're not going to go too crazy and ramp up production even more than what they already have and make these huge investments to expand production because there's no money in it. And it's sad because the demand is still, I mean, let's say a year ago it was 1,000%, it's still 999%. The demand is still absurdly high. And to hear, it'll continue. And to hear that these larger manufacturers aren't going to try and help out on that, it's kind of sad. But I don't blame them. They're not making any money, so why invest in it? That's what they're in business for.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. It's kind of sad. I had a guy actually. At work, I run the Facebook page for our shop, and I actually had a guy tell me that he wanted me to send him a direct message. He wanted me to call him whenever we got 22 in so that he didn't miss any. He wanted to buy as much as he possibly could, and he said I had to call him. Like, that's ridiculous. So that's where we're coming to. And it's just overall sad. All right, I think it's about time for us to start wrapping up. We've been on here for a while. Before we do that, we're gonna give away some things. Ebbs, are you still gonna give away some things, or did people let you down?
No, they didn't. We're gonna give away a hog fob.
Yeah,
let's. If you are unfamiliar with the principle of what this is, it is a key ring / key fob made from the gas piston, American-made gas piston of a Krinkhoff AK, short-barreled AK. And then they've got House of Guns etched into them. I'm getting away from my light here, but giving away a hog fob from one of our Instagram entries, and I actually already drew that. And he's been listening and made a couple comments here tonight. So Goosenheimer.
All right.
I actually, I said that. I just realized I kind of leaned forward a little bit and said that like I was looking for somebody to jump up and raise their hand. and then I realized I was by myself. Yeah, so Goosenheimer, shoot me an email, ebs@houseofguns.com, and you can claim your hog fob for sharing on Instagram and jumping in and participating here on the live show tonight. You are a lucky winner, and you get to join all the cool kids. And I'm waving this in front, and I haven't even sent Dustin one of these yet. But I don't know why I have the impression. I have the impression that you hate AKs. I don't know why that is, but
I need to do more with them. But
okay, there you go. So yeah, Goosenheimer, shoot me an email, and I'll get this out to you tomorrow.
Yeah, and Ebbs, if you don't have any of my stickers, I'll be sure to send you some so you can toss them in for Goosenheimer.
Cool. Then I will wait. Oh no, you know what? I think I've got a couple extras.
Yeah, I'll send you a bunch anyway.
I'll drop them in. Cool.
All right, there is another giveaway. We decided today we're going to do a bunch of stuff to kind of encourage people to come out and watch. Whitey, what do you got for us?
The honor is all Dustin's. I was wondering if he could pick me a number between 1 and 16.
9. I had to think of the caliber. Oh yes.
All right.
9.
Christian Betts. So what we're doing is we're giving away a Savoy leather. Really? I didn't bring it with me.
Wait.
You have one?
I have a Savoy one. I don't have the FGG one.
Savoy leather key fob, which is just handmade, handcrafted, SavoyLeather.com. It is also going to come with the exclusive Four Guys Guns blackout patch, which, of course, fully unprepared, I do not have on me. It's our logo patch in all black on black on black. Everyone thought I was crazy for doing it. Everybody wants it. That will be also included with a few slaps just to go with it, and we will take care of you. Again, that was Christian Betts. Make sure you Facebook private message us, which is facebook.com/4guysguns. You can also like and subscribe, as well as youtube.com/4guysguns. You can follow us on Twitter, 4guysguns, and I am on Instagram @Captain Whitey.
Wait, are we doing that now? I didn't do that.
No. You should get back in the corner.
All right, and we've got another giveaway. This one is directly from Savoy Leather. He was doing a Facebook promotion for us, and there are 3 people that are going to win, I believe, some key fobs, much like I was showing here, this nice handmade leather key fob. These things are awesome, man. I love having it, and of course I've also got the hog fob on there too. Now, the 3 people that are going to win that are Brian S., Jesse B., and Rod R. Go ahead and email savoyleather@gmail.com with chaos as a subject and put your address in there, and he'll get that sent out to you. And if you guys, those of you that won, want to reach out to me, I'll shoot you some stickers and stuff if you want them. I want to say tonight was our Season 2 opener, and I want to thank you all out there for watching. Dustin, thank you so much for coming on. You know, you gave up your daddy day with your children, so thank you so much for coming on. I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, it was fun stuff, man. Thanks for having me.
That's awesome, man. We'll definitely like to stay in touch.
Season 2 can only get better from here. So I knew that's why you had me on. So now you can top it easy.
No, man, you are awesome. We had some great discussions, and honestly, your perspective is very similar to mine on a lot of the political issues and things like that. So it's great to meet another like-minded individual. That's for sure.
Thanks.
Now we're gonna say goodbye to my co-host here, the lovable Ebbs from HouseOfGuns.com. Ebbs, is there anything you want to say before we leave tonight?
Yeah, like 10 things. I love how Whitey and I are sitting right here, and you're like, Dustin, it's always nice to have a conversation with like-minded people, and to be able to line up politically. And I'm sitting over here like, what?
No, that's why. I know. Come on,
I understood it.
We fill in the gaps between man love time.
I understood it, and Great, Dustin. You are obviously a passionate guy about everything that you insert yourself into, shooting sports included. So I appreciate you on our side, and as a brother in Christ too, being able to speak honestly and openly about your choices, and so I love it. It's encouraging, and just for my blurbs, real quick, House of Guns is HAUS of Guns. We have a .com, we have a YouTube, we have a Facebook, we have a Twitter, we have an Instagram, and I could use some help. We're like this far from 10,000 on YouTube and Twitter. So if you're not already subscribed to House of Guns on YouTube or following us on the tweet machine, that would be awesome. And when I say we are almost there, I mean me. So it's funny. It's funny when we get online and like try to make it sound like a team. We start referring to ourselves in the third person. So, but thanks for tuning in, everybody. We're looking forward to this season, and John, for the opportunity. It's always a good time, and you guys are a good group to hang out with.
Well, I love having you guys on here. Whitey, is there anything you would like to say before we roll out? I know you gave all your social media stuff out.
I don't know what you're talking about, but it is cool to actually.
We got bulk carry groups.
It is cool it's cool to finally kind of meet a bunch of people that are like-minded in the way I think about guns and stuff like that. So I don't get to do that too often. Awkward.
Crickets.
So,
we love you too, big guy.
Yeah, I won't go through the whole list of, Four Guys Guns. It's everything / Four Guys Guns is what it boils down to. But we do have a big giveaway we'll be announcing in the next 2 weeks. Huge. New Year, New Gear giveaway. A lot of people signed up for this one, and it's going to be massive. Lots of stuff. Other than that, about to hit.
It's always come big with the giveaways.
It's we're just going to start doing them once a fiscal quarter at this point because it's just... It used to be a point where we have to like hound people, but now people are like, hey, you wanna involve me in your next giveaway? It's like, yeah, okay, and then it's like a waterfall. It just gets bigger and bigger, and it's like, all right, you're it. You're the last person. I'm done, and it's just so big. But you know what? It's the least we could do for almost 200,000 fans on Facebook. I mean, 200K. We're gonna hit that most likely tomorrow. And it's just to watch it grow. Slow clap, motherfucker.
It's an animal. It really is.
I mean, we're literally at the rate we're going. It's going to be probably midday tomorrow. We'll hit 200K, and we can't thank our fans who follow us enough because it's been a driving force, the positive energy, so to speak.
That's awesome, man.
And Dustin,
congratulations
of course,
on that.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Dustin, where can people get a hold of you? Where can they check out Camp His Way? I know we want to get as many people to come talk to you as possible, so where can people get a hold of you?
I'm big on Facebook, so hit me up my page there. You can go to topshotdustin.com or Facebook, TopShotDustin, Twitter, TopShotDustin, Instagram, all that good stuff. Email me, topshotdustin@gmail. And you can find me. I'm too easy to find.
That's awesome. Is there anything you'd like to add before we close it up?
I don't know, just thanks for having me on. It's always fun talking about guns and gear and all this stuff. It's been fun. So, yeah, y'all just stay free, stay safe.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on, man. Guys out there watching, of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/chaos311clarity. You can check me out on Instagram at chaos311clarity as well, and Facebook, etc., etc. I have Twitter, don't use it much, whatever. And I just want to say thank you all out there for watching. Season 2 is going to be huge. We're going to continue the trend of having awesome people just like Dustin on here. Of course, check out everybody's social media because if you haven't yet, they are all fantastic people. And I just want to say thank you again to my panelists. And with that, we will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.